The last aspect on the Wellculator is about activating your body, because we can't have a conversation around energy and performance and health and weight and only look at nutrition and how you eat and how you drink. We have to consider how you move. So we've spoken about strategic refueling, we've spoken about strategic hydration. We have to also consider strategic movement. Now, ideally, the best way to activate your body, and there are many other courses on Macabre to help you do this, is to exercise and to find a form of exercise that you enjoy. That might be dancing, it might be stretching, it might be walking, running, yoga. But ideally, we should be doing exercise for at least about half an hour a day. Or the experts have said if you were counting your steps, you want to be taking 10,000 steps over the period of a day. By the way, there's a lot of little pedometers and smartphone applications that are quite easy to use if you wanted to see if you are actually walking 10,000 steps a day. But for me, on the Wellculator, when I talk about activating your body, I know that because I work with people who are time poor and stress rich, that generally they are not going for a run after work or getting to the gym first thing in the morning. So what we do is we need to consider how can we activate our bodies during the day. So without having to put on running shoes or changing into sports gear or going into a gymnasium, literally wherever you are, being able to activate your body. Because when you activate your body, that implies that you energize yourself, you shift your state, and ideally you get blood flow going, even if the activation lasts for just a minute or two. If you get blood flow going, what happens is that the blood will carry oxygen and nutrients to this 4-pound universe, your brain that needs it. So when you're activating your body, it's not just about your body, it's also about your brain and being able to engage in your work better. So we know that at least every 90 minutes, you should be moving for 10 to 15 minutes at a time. In my opinion and the experience I've had in the workplace, I think sitting for 90 minutes, that's an hour and a half, is too long. And I find that I can't take a break for 10 to 15 minutes. That feels like too long of a break. So what I suggest is that every half an hour, you take about a 3 to 5 minute break. I think that seems just a little bit more doable. It's more of a tiny step. So when you're sitting at your desk, when you're sitting in a meeting, when you're sitting at a conference or at an event or with the client, or maybe you're commuting or you're sitting behind your steering wheel driving, the first thing you can do to activate your body is to be aware of your posture. What's really exciting is the work that Amy Cuddy has done. She's got some lovely research that shows that when we sit upright or stand upright in what she calls a power pose, so shoulders down and back and your core activated and sitting upright rather than slouching and working away. But when you stand or sit in a power pose, you actually change your internal chemistry. How cool is that? Your stress hormone, cortisol, starts to drop, comes down, very good thing. You don't want lots of cortisol in your system ever. And your dominant hormone, which is testosterone, actually starts to lift, which means that you feel more assertive, you come across more assertive. So if you're working or having a negotiator meeting or in sales or just trying to convince your teenage daughter or son to do something, you can come across more effectively. And also your posture, when you sit or stand upright, on a physiological level, it opens up your rib cage and makes it easier for you to breathe. Now we all breathe, but we don't all breathe effectively or deeply. And a second way to activate your body, besides being aware of your posture, is being much more aware of your breath. There is so much evidence to show that when we actively breathe and focus on our breath, that we do all kinds of amazing things. We get our right and left brain talking to each other, we create calm, we reduce anxiety, and the benefits around breathing are just phenomenal. So be sure to take a look at the courses that are around mindfulness and breathing on the Macabre website. So by sitting upright, you open up your upper body, you're able to breathe, and breathing can also help to activate your body. But ideally, every 30 minutes, even if you're sitting upright and taking deep breaths, I would want you to move. So movement can be very basic stretches, can be stretches at your desk, but ideally you want to get up from where you are and move around, even if it is just for 1 minute. the more intense your activation, I think the more the benefit is. So if you've got a flight of stairs around the corner, if you go for 1 minute and walk up and down the flight of stairs, amazing. Or maybe you could do like some chair squats if you're not in an open plan office. And if you are, well, get everybody else involved. It's amazing how contagious your energy can be when you do that. Or maybe it's just about going up and grabbing a glass of water along with your cup of coffee. And while you're doing that, to be aware of moving a bit more. So not just emailing a colleague or phoning somebody, but if you're able to actually walk and go up to them. That is one way. So the idea of activating your body and your brain during the day can play a huge role in helping you benefit from movement without having to physically go out and sweat and spend money and go and exercise. Ideally, we want you to be doing that, but I know that for many of you, you're not always able to, or you're not always motivated or have the ability to do that. But activating your body, really easy. So sit upright, take some deep breaths, and at least every half an hour, be aware of moving around for a couple of minutes.